My tendon will heal in a day or two. That mindset is one of the fastest ways to turn a small ache into a long-term injury. If your elbow clicks, your shoulder nags, or your Achilles feels tight, every session, this video will explain what's actually happening inside the tendon, why it doesn't heal on your schedule, and the training approach that helps most people recover without giving up the gym. 1. The problem. Why a small tweak becomes a long injury. Here's the pattern I see all the time. You feel a mild discomfort maybe in your elbow during pull-ups, your patellar tendon during squats, or your Achilles after running. It's not disabling, so you keep training. You push through, maybe take one day off, then go right back to the same movement. A week later, it's worse. A month later, you're modifying everything. And eventually you're at the point where everyday things, opening a jar, going upstairs, grabbing a bag, feel way harder than they should. That's not bad luck, that's biology. Tendon pain often becomes chronic because people keep reloading the exact tissue that's trying to repair. 2. What a tendon actually is. Tendons are connective tissue made mostly of collagen. Their job is simple but brutal. They transmit force from muscle to bone. Every rep you do, pull-ups, dips, curls, sprints, the tendon is the cable carrying load. And tendons aren't just strong ropes, they're engineered. In healthy tendon tissue, collagen fibers are densely packed and aligned in the same direction, almost like neatly organized strands in a climbing rope. That alignment is what gives tendons their strength and efficiency. Tendons also behave like springs in movements like running and jumping. They store energy when you land, then release it when you push off. Great system until you overload it. 3. What goes wrong? Micro damage and disorganization. When your training load is appropriate, a tendon adapts. But when the load is too high, too much volume, too much intensity, poor technique, sudden progression, or not enough recovery, you start accumulating micro tears faster than your body can repair them. The important part, tendon problems aren't always a single dramatic pop. More often, it's gradual. The collagen fibers lose their organization. Instead of parallel alignment, they become more scattered and messy, which reduces the tendon's ability to handle load smoothly. So the tendon becomes more sensitive, you feel pain, stiffness, and that clicking or grinding sensation. And if you keep training the same way, you keep reinforcing the problem. 4. Tendinitis versus tendinopathy and why it matters. You'll often hear two terms. Tendinitis usually refers to an acute, more recent irritation, often involving inflammation. Tendinopathy is a broader term used when symptoms persist over time, and the tendon has undergone structural changes. Here's what most people miss. The pain isn't simply a bad thing to shut down. It's a signal that the tendon's load tolerance is being exceeded. If you ignore that signal for weeks, the issue becomes harder to reverse. Not impossible, just slower. Also, tendons don't heal like muscles. Muscle soreness can fade quickly. Tendon remodeling can take weeks to months, depending on severity, your training history, and how consistently you rehab it. So if you're planning around a vacation, a competition, or a deadline, your tendon doesn't care. It responds to consistent loading and recovery, not motivation. What actually works? Reduce the trigger, then reload correctly. Now, the good news. Most tendon issues improve when you stop doing two things: re-injuring it and randomly resting forever with no plan. A practical approach looks like this. Step 1. Remove the specific trigger. Not all training, just the exact movement or variation that spikes pain. If pull-ups flare your elbow, change grip, reduce volume, switch to easier variations, or temporarily replace with rows. The rule is, keep training, but stop feeding the injury. Step 2. Use slow, controlled loading, especially eccentrics. Eccentrics are the lowering phase. The slow descent of a curl, the controlled lowering from a calf raise, the negative portion of a pull-up. This assumes you can do it pain-managed. The goal is controlled stress enough to stimulate remodeling, not enough to irritate. Why does this help? Because structured loading encourages collagen fibers to lay down in a more organized direction, closer to that parallel rope-like structure, a tendon needs. Step 3. Progress gradually and respect volume. A lot of tendon problems aren't because the person is weak. They're because the progression was too aggressive. Too many sets, too many days, too fast, too soon. A simple guideline: increase volume or intensity in small steps, and keep at least one demonstrable easy week or deload phase as needed, especially when you're adding a new movement. 6. When to get help. If pain is severe, worsening, associated with sudden loss of strength, swelling, or you suspect a tear, get evaluated by a qualified clinician. Tendon issues are very manageable, but the right diagnosis matters, especially if nerves or joint structures are involved. Your tendon will not heal in 36 hours because you want it to. But if you stop re-aggravating it and you reload it with a smart plan, you can rebuild capacity and be training months from now rather than stuck in the cycle of push through, flare up, rest, repeat.